And welcome to Habs Unfiltered, episode 168. I'm your host, Blaine Pudvang, and I'm joined by my co-host, Treg Wilson.
Hello, everybody.
So this episode is a post-game Game 1 preview Game 2 episode. Matt is unfortunately unable to join us as he is working. Apparently, the Air Force doesn't let him take time off in the summer. They're super busy, I guess, setting up volleyball courts. I guess.
I don't know what they do. He
Yeah.
says he's busy, but I question that. I've seen the Air Force work.
Yeah, I mean, it's Air Force stuff, right? But good news, later on in this episode, we're going to be joined by Andrew Mulville of the Hockey Writers, and he covers the Tampa Bay Lightning. So we're going to start a feud, I guess. We'll beat them up online. I don't know.
Whatever works.
Yeah.
He might take a dive. He might take a dive, though, so we got to be careful.
Whoa. He's not Kucherov. He could take a shot and keep going. So, all right. We'll just get started then. So the Canadiens kind of sucked in Game 1, huh?
Yeah, that was probably the worst game of the entire playoffs.
Yeah.
By far. They didn't generate any offense. They were scrambled on defense. The giveaways in the neutral zone is what killed them. 3 of the goals were direct results of giving the puck up at the Tampa Bay blue line and then just not being able to get back in time to. And of course, another one was from the face-off, which they had issues with Vegas. So
I think that was the only goal that the Canadiens didn't create for the other team.
Correct. You're absolutely right. Now, I mean, 2 of the Tampa goals, I'm going to say, were kind of lucky goals. Stamkos' power play goal kind of was on a bad angle and squeaked in.
Yeah.
And the Sherratt second goal of the game that kind of went off his arm.
Yeah, where they batted it out of the air.
Yeah. I don't think Point touched it. I think it went off Sherratt's
whether
stick,
he did or didn't.
Whether he did or didn't, it was a fluky goal, and that happens. That happens in games,
but it was from a turnover that the Canadiens.
Correct. Yeah.
I mean, the Canadiens beat themselves in that game. It wasn't like Tampa showed up and said, "We're your daddy. We're this ball gag."
Although Tampa looked very good. Tampa capitalized on the results. They their power play with those cross ice passes for the one-timers. Which Montreal was doing very good with shutting down in the first 3 series. Like they were shutting down that cross ice pass. And
I'm going to get to that with the power play stuff in a little bit, but I want to stick on the fact that the Canadiens beat themselves. Yes, Tampa Bay is a great hockey team. They're the defending Cup champs. They've got a team that you can't even buy for $100 million. But it was the Canadiens' mistakes, their nervous play, all of it that generated all those turnovers in the offense for Tampa.
Yeah. Of the 5 goals, 3 of them were generated because Montreal made mistakes, gave the puck up at the wrong place, the wrong time, and couldn't get back to handle it. I don't think Tampa's going to dominate Montreal in this series. I don't think it's going to be I know I put a tweet out about how Habs fans react per game. And thanks to everyone for explaining to me how the fans work. I appreciate that.
Because we've never seen it.
Yeah.
Ever.
Yeah. You really got to learn what sarcasm is. But but no, I shouldn't say that. Thank you, fans, for explaining to me how it works. I didn't know, hence the tweet. But
don't worry, it'll change after a win.
Yeah. Well, it'll be the first part of the tweet that I put out.
Yeah.
But this would be Montreal's toughest test, and they got to play. And I think I said they can win in 6. I still believe they can win in 6.
Yeah.
It's no different than the first game in Vegas against Vegas, or the second, third, and fourth game against Toronto. Really, if you think about it, and they'll find a way. They'll come back. They'll adjust, and we'll see how tonight goes. All we really wanted was a split out of Tampa anyway. So
Yeah, it's better to get that first win though, because then you're guaranteed the split.
correct, but
But now in game one, um, the Canadians they lacked all composure. They
oh,
had they played undisciplined, not just penalties, but their game was sloppy. They weren't
yeah,
thinking the game correctly. And it wasn't just one or two people. It was pretty much everybody, with the exceptions of Carey Price, Shea Weber, Josh Anderson. Those three, they came to play. The rest
oh,
were, it was kind of touchy feely, not sure what to do. I mean, Cole Caulfield made sense. He made a couple of really bad giveaways, but I mean, Christ, it's the Stanley Cup Finals. You're a kid. You've never really played at this level before, so I get
yep.
that part.
He also got back on a couple of them to make
Yeah,
some pretty good defensive plays. Um, I think a lot of nerves had to do with it. I think a lot of the
yeah,
younger guys were nervous.
yeah,
And that's going to be up to guys like Perry and Stahl and Weber, even like guys who have to.
yeah. You're skipping a little bit. So anyway, back to game one. It was they created they left too many large gaps. Let they let Tampa into the game. So as Treg as long as he's fixing his stuff, we're good. I'm gonna ham up for some time here. I'm gonna let him know he froze. Now, yeah, so they gave up way too many gaps. They provided too many turnovers. They were undisciplined. And it was the in-game adjustments weren't there. So with Dom Ducharme at home, oh, there he is. He's back. Welcome.
Hey there.
Nice to see you back. Yeah, so we're on to the in-game adjustments. So Dom Ducharme's at home. He's the head coach. He's not on the bench. And Luke Richardson, I mean, as great of a story it's been, Luke Richardson's bench management is nothing compared to Cooper's bench management. Cooper is a seasoned NHL coach. So we saw it in game one. Deno was unable to go up against points line. That's a huge adjustment that has to be made.
It's not that he can't go up against the line. It's just Richardson has to be better of rotating his lines, even though he doesn't have the last change, to make sure that Dano gets out on that line.
But that's bench management, and he was unable to do it. So how do you think he's going to do it in game two?
He can do one of two things. He can switch the lines up, which I don't think he's going to do.
No.
Or he can just, as soon as that line comes out, he's going to have to make quicker changes. He's going to have to rotate through the lines faster. Instead of having 30 to 45 second shifts, they're going to have to cut it down to 15 to 20 seconds, just to get that line out there. It's tough. It's going to be hard. But I think they can do it. I mean, Richardson's no slouch. He's been an AHL coach. He knows how to match lines and stuff like that. He just needs to figure out a way to think ahead of what Cooper's going to do and go with that.
Yeah, he's going to have to find ways when they get out on a face-off. Clearly, with the last line change, Cooper's going to have whoever he wants out there against the Habs lines. What's going to have to happen is a very fast line change as soon as that face-off is. And you hope that you win so that you can make your line change quicker. Unless it's an offensive zone win, then, hey, pin those guys in and you end up with the same outcome that you want anyway. But, yeah, you start with Deno against their fourth line. He wins the face-off. You bring out your Suzuki line. Yeah. It's things like that. You're going to have shifts of 30 seconds, 20 seconds, 10 seconds. That's what's going to have to happen. And it just did not happen. You could even double shift Deno, swap him onto Suzuki's line at some point and see what happens. You
could even put Deno out with whatever line's out there and have a double center. So, Suzuki's line out, Kucherov's line, Suzuki's line's coming out, put Deno on that line, all right, Kucherov's there. At least Suzuki's the guy who goes off and Danault
Yeah.
stays. If you put the Suzuki line out and then they bring out a different line, then Danault's the guy that goes off the ice as soon as the face-off's done. And you can do stuff like that. If Danault's the guy he wants out there, which makes sense because Danault's the main guy that centers that whole defensive core, then he's the guy that's Danault's just going to have to double shift, or he's just going to have to play a little bit more minutes or faster line changes. There's a way to do it. Every team's done it. So, but it will be a challenge for Richardson.
Yeah, that's one of the big adjustments for the Canadians going into game 2, where they're going to have to find a way to get the matchups they want more. I mean, they didn't get them at all, so they're going to have to find a way to get them at some times. But if they can't make those matchups happen, you still have to rely on lines like Suzuki's line and Kotkaniemi's line to pick up some of the slack. Now, Kotkaniemi's line did okay for the most part, but Suzuki's line was it just point exposed them. Let's put it that way.
Yes, Suzuki's line could not contain point. They tried. Don't get me wrong.
But I think they gave too much respect and too much.
I think
space.
that line's a bit intimidated. They're a young line. Suzuki, Caulfield, first time in the Stanley Cup Finals, first time that far in the playoffs. I think Toffoli on that line got to be the guy to come get them together and say, all right, boys, you know what I mean? Like,
he was unable to in that game, though.
He was in that game, but now that they have time, now that they felt out Tampa Bay, they know how Tampa Bay is going to play against them. Montreal did try to ground and pound Tampa Bay in that game. I think they had over 50 some odd hits on them.
But Tampa's built to do that as well. So
they're built to withstand it. They're except maybe Kucherov, who gets hurt every time someone skates by him. But
a stiff breeze. No, but and then that was another adjustment that I think that the Canadians need to focus on is they were far too focused on the physical part of the game. They focused on the hit more than what the hit is being used for. It's to gain control of the puck. They were just hitting for the sake of hitting. They weren't hitting to also get a puck, which is what they had been doing in the first 3 rounds.
And a lot of times they could have just went for the puck, but instead they went for the hit.
Yeah.
And then the puck just went to another Tampa player, and that was the end of it. Exactly. I mean, against a team like Toronto, that's a great strategy because Toronto players, I'm sorry, I'm not dumping on Toronto here, but the Toronto's core guys don't like to be hit. And it throws them off their
exactly. game. They wilt in the face of
Tampa. Tampa plays that style of game. So you're hitting guys that go out and hit other guys. So it's kind of like, the immovable object against the, immovable or what, I don't know. Anyway.
Yeah. And Tampa's the most penalized team in the NHL. So they're not going to wither on that. They're an experienced, proven team. They won the cup last year.
And so, I think Montreal, I'm not saying Montreal should stop hitting. I just think their focus shouldn't be solely on hitting. It should be puck management. And
it should be part of a greater plan, not the plan.
The plan. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Which is what it was. I mean, Anderson, his game is to get in there and shit disturb by finishing every single check. But not everybody on the team should be doing that.
No. I mean, he played his game. Gallagher played his game. I mean, I think Gallagher's hurt because I don't think Gallagher's really playing that great hockey the last few games, but he's playing his type of hockey, which is getting under people's skin. Yeah. You saw Sergachev lose his mind there on him. And before anyone gets into it, I don't think Sergachev intentionally tried to drive Gallagher's head into the ice.
Nor do I. But if his name was Tom Wilson, he would be suspended right now.
Correct.
Which proves to me that Department of Player Safety manages it by the name, not the act.
Well, just look at the suspension or the fine on Weber for Kucherov.
Sploosh.
No, well, not just that, but if he would have slashed anyone else, like if he would have slashed Pat Maroon, do you honestly think he would have got a $5,000 fine?
Do you honestly think Pat Maroon would have felt like he was shot by the second gunman on the grassy knoll?
No, but I mean, look at Kotkaniemi when he got hit. Same.
In the Toronto series. Play.
And the
in the
Toronto thing,
Toronto
same
series.
exact
Yeah,
play, and there was no call on it. Why? Because it was against Kotkaniemi. If that
that's
was
right.
McDavid or Kucherov or Crosby,
Fine.
$5,000 fine. So I
Yeah,
mean,
and don't get me wrong, getting hit in the back of the knee by a slash hurts like a bastard. But I mean, he went down pretty hard.
both knees buckled when only one knee got hit.
And he looked right at the referee, who did not
Didn't,
make the call. And why?
because he embellished it. He would have had to take both of them out.
Not just that one. He embellished the call that they made on Sherratt earlier in the game. The referee got embarrassed by an embellishment earlier in the game. He didn't see it. He watched the replay and he saw that Sherratt kind of gave him a shot on the shoulder, not in the face like he sold. So the ref took a hook. He hooked on that one. So game management. You don't show up the referees.
I didn't mind the refereeing in that first game, to be honest.
It was solid.
With you.
I mean, the
I thought it
Canadiens
was
clearly had more penalties, but I thought the way they managed that game, the way they called the plays, it was consistent.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I thought the first penalty, which I think went to Tampa, I was kind of like, man, they let all that go, and then they're calling that. And I mean, it was against Tampa, so I'm being kind of fair here.
Yeah.
But maybe they let all that go, saw that, and go, all right, enough's enough. We're calling this if you guys don't settle this crap down. So,
which brings me to the special teams. We're going to get into special teams now. We'll start with the power play for the Canadiens, which I'm gonna sugarcoat it a little bit and give them some props, but it was trash. It wasn't very good. It wasn't very good.
The first power play had great movement.
The outside in the perimeter.
They gained the zone, but they didn't shoot the puck. Like, my biggest thing about Montreal is they never shoot the puck. Now, I got in a little back and forth with a guy on Twitter who said, well, they don't have that. Like, because what I said was the difference between Montreal's power play and Tampa is Tampa actually shoots the puck. And he said, well, they have guys that on both sides that can, they have a left-hander guy on the right, that have perfect. And I'm like, yeah, but Suzuki knows how to score on that side that he's on. He gets into the top of the circle and he finds the net. Caulfield has that great shot on the left side. You got the Weber bomb from the point. But Montreal, to me, they gain access to the zone. And this is based on the first one. All the other power plays were trash. But they gain access into the zone. And they just kind of pass it around the house.
It was all perimeter.
And then Tampa was just like, all right, we're just going to stand here because you're not doing anything. And that was it.
From that power play, on the next one, because there was only two, but the following one, Tampa became extremely aggressive. They stood them up at the blue line. They attacked the puck carry at all times. They couldn't generate even the passing lanes. So what they're going to have to do is find get the puck in. Get the puck in and then create those down low 3-on-2s, down low 2-on-1s, which will open up the blue line. And that's where Gustafsson, I almost threw up in my mouth, is going to have to actually become the power play quarterback that people tell me he is, because I don't see it.
Well, Gustafsson can quarterback or power play. He did that in Chicago.
But not really here.
But he's not doing anything here. I mean, personally, I don't think Gustafsson should be in the lineup, although his analytical numbers show that he's the greatest hockey player on the Montreal Canadiens. Throwing that out there.
It's true. Those 9 minutes and 47 seconds a game are amazing.
Whatever. It's only really a minute less than what Mete played. Just throwing that out there too. Tiger Cruz coming after me.
Oh no. Rare.
Anyway, he does. I mean, he has his advantage, but if you're only getting 1 or 2 power plays a game, what's the point? And those power plays are trash anyway. What's the point?
And are the passes that he is making so amazing that it excuses the defensive lapses?
No. Like, if you're playing a guy 5 minutes a game, what's the point? Put in Romanov, play him 9 minutes a game. He can make the pass just as good as Gustafsson can on the power play, if that's what you're looking for.
Yeah. And he's a pure offensive guy. So use him as such. If you're not going to bring in Romanov, who can get pucks to the net, create passing lanes and shooting lanes on power play or 5-on-5, if you're going to keep Gustafsson, why not pair him up with an offensive line? Ensure that he is on the ice when he's on 5-on-5 with the players that are offensively minded, like Suzuki's line.
Yeah.
Because he can create those stretch passes. He can take advantage of their speed. They can create off each other. This is where the matchups come in again.
Problem is he's going to be up for the power plays and maybe 2 minutes other than that, just to give the top four a rest.
Essentially, yes.
That's it.
Yeah.
And
which is why I argue Romanov can easily fill that role.
And probably do it better because he's more reliable at both ends of the ice.
He could actually play some defense.
And my issue with Gustin on the power play is when he coughs the puck up, because he panics when someone pressures him. Now you basically have a one-on-none because Gustin's going to go back there with no clue what to do.
If he gets back there in time.
Right. Yeah. So, I mean, I don't know. I'm not the NHL coach.
True.
Gustafsson's, they're in the finals with Gustafsson in the lineup.
So they'll have to find some kind of an adjustment to suck the Tampa Bay penalty killers in, use the aggression against them to create those down low odd man battles, which will open up space in other areas. So if they can figure that out, the power play, as long as they can produce a power play goal here and there, the job is done.
I still believe if they just shoot more, even if it's not that great of a shot, you're going to make the Tampa defenders think, he has the puck. Because right now they're like, all right, he has the puck. All I got to do is stand here. He won't shoot because he's going to pass it off because he doesn't think he has a good shot. Oh, he's not going to shoot. Oh, that guy's not going to shoot. Perry's not going to shoot. Suzuki's not going to shoot. So they're basically like, okay, whatever. We're not worried about the shot, right? Let's just take out the passing lanes.
There's
Next
nobody.
thing you know,
there's lack of net front presence. They're not at the front of the net as much as they need to be. Like, they need to be there all the time. They need someone there at all times. Because when they take their shot, that's just picked up by one of the Tampa defenders and just calmly sent out, or they're trying to pick corners. They're trying to hit specific spots on Vasilevsky. You can't be, it's like Carey Price. When you're shooting on Carey Price and you're trying to hit corners, you're going to miss. You're going to just miss wide. You're just going to put it, off a crossbar. You're just going to start putting it high. Get it on net. Go for the rebounds, because his rebound control isn't that great.
No, and I mean, you could tell in the first game they're going high on Vasilevsky.
Yeah.
Good, which is a good strategy because Vasilevsky down low pretty much shuts the door. However, Vasilevsky also knows you're going high. So even if you're not going to score down low, throw a few shots down there, try to create a rebound, and see what happens there. Or get him thinking, oh, wait, they are shooting low on me. Wait a minute here, right? But if you're just going to keep shooting high all the time, I mean, as a goaltender, in lacrosse, but it's the same principle.
Yep.
If the person's going to keep shooting high all the time, well, you're not even going to worry about the bottom of the net because they're not going there.
Yeah, exactly. And when you're fighting the puck, like he kind of was, he was giving up some pretty good rebounds. If you have someone in front of the net, they can jam at that. They can hit those rebounds. And how was Montreal's goal scored? It was a low shot.
And was off two legs and went in.
Because there was traffic in front of the net.
Traffic in front, yeah.
Because if you're in front of the net, they have a guy there too. So now you have two people screening him.
Yep.
Use that.
Vasilevsky's too good to try to just beat him one-on-one. Or just try to beat him with a clean shot. He's just like, you're absolutely right. He's just like Carey Price. He's just too good to do that. And how did they score on Carey Price? They created net front presence. They got tip-ins and cross crease. And that's exactly what you got to do with Vasilevsky.
Exactly. Which brings me to the penalty kill. So they were obviously trying to do the cross seam pass at all times because they have that diamond shape, the 1-3-1. They have that set up as well. But they've got those high skilled shooters and Stamkos and Kucherov on either side, and they're trying to just tic tac back and forth to get that cross seam one timer. The way it worked for the Canadians at the start of the game, they were giving up that cross seam pass, but it was always at the top of the zone. So even though it went cross seam and they got the one timer, Price had plenty of time to move across, square up, stop the shot. The one at the end of the game in garbage time, after a long 5-on-3 with people stuck out on the ice for far too long. You mentioned it was a bad angle and it got in. I don't mind that they broke the streak on that.
Well, neither do I. I mean, I don't think Montreal's PK was really all that bad. You're absolutely right. They got rid of the down low crossing pass. They let it go up high. They got the sticks in the lanes. They did what they had to do against a Tampa Bay team who's scoring at 30% on their power play.
Almost 40.
That's unheard of.
Yeah.
So really, I thought they did well. I think they were Tampa Bay was 1 for 4, I think.
1 for 4. So the PK was 75% against the best power play I think the playoffs have seen in the last 30 years.
Yeah.
So,
so
and the one power play goal was in garbage time. It was it was their 5th goal.
Right. It was after a 5-on-3. So
yeah, exactly.
With
like a minute and a half left.
10 to go.
Yeah.
So, and I'm fine with that. I mean, I'm fine. I mean, you're not gonna. If anyone thought they're gonna go through this series without Tampa scoring a power play goal, then you were crazy. You know.
I didn't mind it because, like I said, it was garbage. Like the garbage time. Mm-hmm. The game was already out of reach.
It didn't hurt the team.
No, you don't want to give up a goal when you're tied or you're just down a goal. I mean, late in the game, that would really kill you. That I don't want. But this one, if you're going to have the streak end, fine, do it that way.
Yeah, totally agree.
But I don't think they need to be doing any real changes to their penalty kill other than when Armia comes back in, he's on one of the penalty killing waves.
Which is going to happen. I mean, the only reason he sat out is because Richardson felt he was sitting at home for 3 days before he flew down here. He just flew down there that morning.
Yeah.
He wasn't going to throw him into the game because he didn't know how fresh he'd be. And I don't think Evans played bad, but he didn't. I think Armia works a lot better with that fourth line than Evans.
It changes the style of the line completely.
Yeah. So
and you want what Armia brings because the line is more effective when it's playing that cycle style.
Yeah.
And Armia can play it better than Evans does.
I thought Evans should have played on the no Gallagher line like he did before he got hurt and have Lehkonen go down, but whatever. I didn't think Evans played bad, so no. It's not like he wasn't the reason they lost, that's for sure.
No, there's a lot of reasons they lost, and most of it had to do with their own play. Yep. Now, clearly there's some adjustments that are coming. Suzuki said, we lost game 1 against Vegas and came back with a really solid game. It's a best-of-7 series, and if we can get one on the road here, that would be big for us. Tomorrow, so this was from yesterday, today, going to be a big one for the confidence. I think the guys will be ready to play. So just like the Vegas series, they came out flat. They did not play their style of game. And then what happened in the following game? The game 2 in Vegas, they really came to play. So I'm expecting that tonight.
Yeah, I'm expecting. I mean, if we get the same game we had the first game, then I think we should start panicking and burn down Montreal and run into the streets and pull our hair out. But I don't think they will. I think they'll bounce
fire
back.
To the bridges.
Yeah, I think they'll come back. They'll play a strong game. I'm hoping they'll get the win. I think they can get the win. And yeah. I just wish it wasn't at 9:00 every night here in Atlantic. Jesus Christ. 2 East Coast teams, and they're starting the games practically at midnight.
Well, they're trying to keep the West Coast in on it too. So I get why they're starting the games about an hour later than normal. But it kind of sucks for us here with the added hour. But whatever. It just means production at work is going to go way down. And which is impressive considering we work for the government.
Now, let's be honest, Blaine. Your production at work is already way down. So,
Hey, I am the only hazmat technician for the entire East Coast, so I'm super busy.
that's it. Weren't you supposed to show up at my unit to do something with hazmat? Whatever happened to that?
Oh, your CO kiboshed it.
Nah, makes sense.
Yeah.
They're divers. They can do whatever they want because they're divers.
No, it's okay. We rescheduled. I'll be doing the inspection another time. It's not a big deal. You had, as long as you got a hand wash station, you pass.
Ooh. Does
a
the
heads up.
ocean does the ocean count as a hand wash station?
No. If you're coming out of Halifax Harbor, no. But all right, so we're gonna take a little break here, and when we come back from that break, we will be joined by the Hockey Writers Tampa Bay correspondent, Andrew Mulville, and he is going to have to put on some headgear and some gloves because the battle is a coming.
Right.
Yeah.
That's right.
So stick around. We'll be right back.